Security cameras were supposed to make us feel safer, and for the most part, they do. You can check on your porch, your driveway, the hallway outside your apartment. You can pull up your phone and see everything is fine. But sometimes, and this is the part nobody talks about, sometimes you pull up that footage and what you see is worse than not knowing. Because now it's right there on the screen, recorded, time-stamped, undeniable. 3 stories tonight. All of them involve security footage. All of them involve something the cameras caught that the people involved cannot explain. And in every single case, the footage made everything worse. Some things, it turns out, you're better off not seeing. I installed a doorbell camera about 2 years ago after a package was stolen off my porch. Standard setup, motion activated, sends a notification to my phone, records 30-second clips whenever anything triggers it. For the first 6 months, it recorded the usual things. Delivery drivers, my neighbor's cat, the occasional raccoon. I barely checked it anymore. Then one night I woke up to 3 notifications in a row. Motion detected, motion detected, motion detected. Timestamp 3:04 a.m., 3:06 a.m., and 3:08 a.m. I opened the app in bed, half asleep, expecting an animal or maybe a car driving by. I pulled up the 3:04 clip first. A man was standing at the end of my driveway. Not at the door, just at the end of the driveway, at the edge of the streetlight's reach, standing completely still, facing the house. The clip ended. I opened the 3:06 clip. He had moved. He was now halfway up the driveway, closer to the house, still facing forward, still completely still, just standing there in the dark. My heart was going fast now. I opened the 3:08 clip. He was on my porch, standing directly in front of the camera, close enough that I could see his face clearly. Blank expression, eyes open, looking directly into the lens. And then, the clip ended. 30 seconds. That was it. I called 911 immediately. 2 officers arrived within 10 minutes. They searched the property and the surrounding block. No one. Nothing disturbed. My front door was still locked. The officers looked at the footage on my phone. One of them said, and I'll never forget this, he was just standing there. He didn't try the door or anything. I said no. He just stood there and looked at the camera. The officer nodded slowly and said, that's actually more concerning than if he'd tried the door. I asked him why. He said, because it means he already knew the camera was there. He came to look at it, not at your house, at the camera. I haven't slept well since, and I check that footage every single morning before I open my front door. My daughter was 14 months old when this happened. I want to say that up front, so you understand how seriously we took it, and how hard we tried to find a rational explanation before accepting that we couldn't. We had a video baby monitor in her room, the kind with night vision, so everything shows up in that green-gray glow at night. We kept the monitor receiver on my wife's nightstand so she could see the crib without getting up. One night, my wife woke me up at around 2 a.m. She was holding the monitor and her face was, I can't describe it any other way. Her face was wrong, like all the blood had left it. She handed me the monitor without saying anything. In the corner of my daughter's room, not near the crib, not near the door, in the far corner, there was a shape. A dark shape in the green-gray night vision image. Upright. roughly human-sized, standing in the corner facing the crib. I was out of bed before I finished processing what I was seeing. I went to her room in seconds, turned the light on. Empty corner. My daughter asleep in her crib. Fine. Breathing. Nothing in the room. I went back and looked at the monitor. The corner was empty on screen now too. I told myself, shadow, camera artifact, night vision glitch. I told my wife the same things. She nodded, but didn't look convinced. We moved the monitor to a different angle, aimed so we could see the whole room. 3 nights later, she woke me again. Same corner, same shape, standing there, facing the crib. I went in. Empty. My daughter fine. We called a home security company the next day. Had the house inspected. Nothing. We had the monitor replaced. Same brand, new unit. It didn't happen again after that. Not once in the 18 months since. I don't know if it was the new monitor or something else. My daughter is almost 3 now and perfectly healthy and has no memory of any of it. But my wife still checks that monitor 3 or 4 times a night. Every night. And I don't tell her to stop. This story comes from a woman named Teresa, who worked night security at a small office complex in Arizona. 4 buildings, about 20 security cameras total, all feeding into a monitor station at the front desk, where she sat alone from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Teresa had worked that job for 3 years without anything unusual happening. Quiet nights, occasional false alarms from the motion sensors, the regular boredom of a graveyard shift. Then one Tuesday night in October, at around 1 a.m., she noticed a man on camera 4. Camera 4 covered the parking lot on the north side of the complex, an area that was supposed to be empty at that hour. The man was walking slowly through the parking lot. Nothing unusual about that visually. People sometimes cut through. But he was moving strangely, too slowly, and he kept stopping and turning to look directly at the camera. Teresa picked up the radio to call the roving guard. While she was doing that, she glanced at the other monitors. He was on camera 7 now. Camera 7 covered the east walkway, on the complete opposite side of the complex from the parking lot. There was no way to walk between those 2 camera locations in the time that had passed. Less than 30 seconds. She called the guard, told him to check the east walkway, then looked back at her monitors. He was on camera 12, the south entrance. Again, impossible distance, impossible time. By the time the guard responded and asked for clarification, the man had appeared on 6 different cameras across the complex, each one impossibly far from the last, always within 30 seconds of the previous appearance. And on every single camera, at some point, he stopped and looked directly into the lens. The guard found no one, checked every building, every walkway, every corner of the parking lot. Empty. Teresa pulled the footage the next morning and had the security company review it. Their technician confirmed that the appearances on multiple cameras were not a loop, not a glitch, not duplicated footage. Each clip was unique, time-stamped independently, showing the same man in different locations seconds apart. The technician had no explanation. Teresa gave her notice the following week. She told me she could handle a lot of things. Intruders, emergencies, even genuine danger. But she couldn't handle sitting alone in a dark room, watching something that shouldn't be possible happen over and over again on 12 different screens. And she especially couldn't handle the way he looked at the cameras. Like he knew exactly where each one was. Like he wanted to be seen.